Yeah.
Dave Banner's here.
All right, send him in, please. Dave, come on in. Sit down.
I'm not going to be here long enough, Warden.
The clothes. Wish we could have done better.
It's better than what I've been wearing.
Yeah, I imagine so. Well, it's all here. The official pardon, letter of apology from the governor, check from the state. Of course, the money's hardly enough to make up for 18 years.
And 3 months and 12 days.
Well, what are your plans? Back to law school?
A 43-year-old law student who's an ex-con.
You're not an ex-con. That's all been wiped away. Look, you could pass the bar exam blindfolded. Why, you must have prepared a dozen briefs for the men here.
14. 8 of them did some good.
There you go. Dave, you'd make one of the best attorneys around.
I have other plans, Warden.
Well, whatever they are, all the luck in the world.
All I want is my share. This gets me out, right?
Right.
I thought you said he was getting out at 2.
That's right. That's what the paper said.
Well, then, how come we got to be there now?
Because at 2 o'clock there'll be a million reporters waiting to trample him to death.
So he's going to duck out early and avoid the rush.
You think he'll talk to me? I wouldn't, I can tell you, if I were in his shoes.
Look, I understand how you feel, sir, but you can't tear yourself apart with this thing for the rest of your life.
I know that, Danko, but I can do it now, and I want to do it now. Will you grudge me that small point?
It wasn't even your fault.
The hell it wasn't.
What, are you going to blame yourself because you found the gun in his apartment?
I have told you, Danko, I blame myself because I did not listen to my instinct and follow through. The whole thing was too pat, and it smelled like a frame.
There was nothing you could do. You said yourself. You were not in a position to follow through.
Just drive the car, will you, please?
out of here. Okay. It's all right now. It's all right. Come on, it's all right. It's all right.
You look the same.
What do you mean I look the same? You just saw me last week.
Oh, not really. There was a pane of glass between us. For 18 years, there's been a pane of glass between us.
Mr. Banner?
Yeah, Officer Riker, isn't
Mr. Banner, I know that nothing I say today can give you any comfort. But I wanted to be here to tell you that I am sorry about what has happened.
it? And now you want to atone for your mistake, is that it?
I want to do everything I can to help you, Mr. Banner. I mean that sincerely. If you want any help.
Well, it may be a little while, Lieutenant, but I'll be in touch. I promise you, I'll be in touch with you.
Lieutenant?
Sounded to me more like a threat than a promise.
Nice, huh? I'll tell you something, I sold 5 of that exact model. Just missed last month.
Okay, I'll take it.
You betcha. You, wanna fill this out for me, please?
What is it?
Oh, standard federal form. Anybody wants to buy a handgun, they want to know who he is. Takes 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It's a little bit heavy. Not for me, but sometimes I work nights. My wife's home alone.
I got plenty of others to choose from.
I do like this. Look, why don't you give me a minute to make up my mind? Meanwhile, there's another gentleman down there who's been waiting for quite a while.
You betcha. Take your time. Ho, ho, ho. You really got yourself a beauty there. I tell you something. I sold 5 just like it this last month. I'm telling you, unless you really want to get into the big money, you couldn't make yourself a better deal.
Excuse me, please.
Yes, sir. I'll be with you in just a minute. Hey, you're not allowed to load the gun in the store, are you?
I've decided to take this. Here, should cover it, including the text. I'm sorry about the form.
Yeah, wait a minute, sir.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
You betcha.
Police department, please.
Banner went to a bar one night after final exams in order to unwind. And he met a girl there by the name of Jane Robbins, and they had a few drinks together. Sometime later, the girl's body was found with 3 bullet holes. A mess.
He didn't know her before.
He said he didn't. I came up with a witness, so I was working homicide on a temporary basis at the time, and the witness said that they left together, and they had been arguing. Banner denied it.
Denied what? That they left together or that they were arguing?
Both. I didn't know who to believe. Next day, we get an anonymous tip. Says that Banner still has possession of the murder weapon. Another guy and myself went over to his house. I found the gun. I made the bust.
That's it?
That's it.
Lieutenant thought it was too pat, wanted to follow through, but...
But I never got the chance. You see, I was replacing this guy at detective headquarters. The next day, he came back. I was automatically off the case and returned to my own precinct.
18 years later, Pavon confesses of the murder and then dies.
And all his hood friends are so shook up, they don't even go to his funeral.
So now Banner is threatening you.
I told you it wasn't a threat.
Why would he? There was nothing personal in it. The lieutenant did nothing more than what any other cop would have done.
Maybe Banner thinks that you were doing more than just that.
Could be.
$11 a bottle. You understand, I don't do this every day.
Just every 18 years.
It gets better later on. So, how was your first afternoon?
It was all right. Not bad. I ordered a couple of suits. And I went to one of the newspapers.
What were you doing there?
I was going through the morgue, trying to catch up on a couple of people in it. I managed to pick up a photograph of one of them. Frank Larrabee.
The one who said you left the bar with that girl.
Yeah, the years have been very good to him. He's made a lot of money, all of it dirty.
Dave, I know what you're thinking. I won't let you. Look, it's over.
It is not all over. He is one of two men who stole my life from me. That's 18 years. Do you understand that? 18 years. The best years. Years that I should have been using to build something for the two of us.
Dave, you're hurting me.
I'm sorry.
Larrabee, you're not going to...
No. No, at least I won't be the one to kill him. The other one, though, he's a different story. I hate him a lot more than I do Larrabee. He gets a more personal touch. You met him this morning. Riker.
Mr. Larrabee?
Yeah?
I'm on my way.
All the money tally out all right?
Yeah, the money always tallies out right. In the 6 months I've worked for you, it's been right on a dime.
Okay. Hey, drive carefully. You watch, Farouk.
Miss Page.
Dave's not here now.
May I come in?
I'd rather you didn't.
Will you forgive me for bothering you like this?
Why do you want to keep bothering him? Let him alone.
I want to help him.
You already said that.
I care about the man.
You feel guilty toward him.
All right. That's one reason. There has been a miscarriage of justice, and I played a role in that. I told your husband yesterday. I mean, Mr. Banner.
He would have been my husband for the last 18 years, except for you.
I know that. I did not convict the man. I arrested him. There's a difference, you know.
Then you have nothing to feel guilty about, do you, Lieutenant? You did what you had to.
If I had been more diligent.
He was just going, Dave.
I want to talk to you.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Mr. Banner, I know what the situation is you're in now. I think I can help.
Riker, come up. Will you get rid of your guilt someplace else?
If I hadn't arrested you, someone else would have.
Someone else wouldn't have found the gun.
What does that mean?
The gun was planted.
Well, of course it was planted. We know that now. It's obvious.
It was obvious then, only I was guilty until I was proved innocent, and I couldn't prove I was innocent.
There were a lot of people involved in your mistaken imprisonment.
The jury was mistaken. You planned well. Riker, when I was in college, I lived in a high-crime area. I kept my door locked and my windows. I even had a lock on the closet where I stashed my textbooks. There wasn't any sign of forced entry. Nobody came in that room before you did. You put that gun there when you came in to search. That's the only way it could have happened.
You don't believe that, do you?
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, you're wrong, Banner. I didn't. I did not plant that gun.
All right, prove it.
How can I? It's so long ago, 18 years.
Don't tell me how long it was. I was there. Remember, I spent 18 years in hell just because I had a couple of drinks in the wrong bar.
You think about that sometimes. I do. I think about that a lot. I think about the two guys who put me there. You, I think about a great deal.
You better leave now.
I'd like to say what I came here to say. Didn't come here to upset you two and open up old wounds.
Just looking at you does that.
I have a job offer from the DA's office. Man is a friend of mine. I've known him for years. He says you can go to work for him, draw a salary, and get your law degree at the same time.
Dave.
Now, the pay isn't all that much.
Tell him thanks, but I'm not interested.
Look, the lady asked you to leave. Will you get out right now?
I chose not to see it as such, and I owe each of you an apology. And where is Danko? Because I asked him to be here, too.
He's on his way, Lieutenant. He stopped by R&I. Something he wanted to check out.
A threat? Do you think he means to kill you?
He didn't say, and I didn't ask.
Larrabee, Frank Larrabee. For my money, he's the one.
One of the biggest heroin dealers in town.
Put that together with the fact that he's the witness that fingered Banner as the one leaving the bar with the girl. What do you get?
Set up.
All I can see is we've got a witness who's less than your basic good citizen. Where's the tie-in to the Banner case?
All right, track it with me. Michael Pavan, that's the guy who just made the deathbed confession. He kills a woman because she's getting in his hair. Larrabee, who works under Pavan and the syndicate, decides that he wants to impress his boss. So he perjures himself.
Larrabee's done a little second story work in his time. It wouldn't have been too hard for him to put that gun in Banner's apartment.
That's the connection. That's where I come in.
Yeah, but if Banner has it figured out the same way, Larrabee could be in big trouble, and so could you, Lieutenant.
Safe cracking tools. known to me by a friend of mine. He's also kind enough to provide some expertise. If I hadn't gone to jail, I'd be fairly wealthy by now, don't you think? Frank Larrabee is wealthy.
Dave, no.
I've done a lot of research on him. He's very big in narcotics, you know. He has any number of people working for him. Every other Wednesday,
Please, leave him alone. Leave them all alone.
these people, collectors, deliver receipts to Larrabee.
Don't tell me anymore.
It follows that the money is left over Wednesday night in Larrabee's house, probably in a safe. I think I know exactly where that safe is. Barbara? Barbara, this is something I have to do. We've been over this. Come on. Don't you understand?
hear any shots, any explosions?
No.
No loud noises at all?
No, if there's anything like that, I must have slept right through it.
Most of your neighbors were sure they heard gunfire. Some of them called it in. They said it sounded like a war.
Beats me. Wait a minute. I did hear something. Yes, it was like a car backfire, maybe 6:30.
And you went back to sleep?
Well, I didn't see any reason not to.
You're sure nothing's missing?
No.
Thank you. Sorry to bother you.
Okay.
What do you think?
He's lying through his teeth. The man was lying, Lieutenant. Someone was out there, maybe gunning for him.
We figure it might have been Banner.
You gotta consider it, sir. I mean, the first and only time any shooting, or any other disturbance for that matter, is reported from Larrabee's place comes pretty quick after Banner's release from prison.
He's got a lot of reason to want to see Larrabee dead.
Lieutenant, you gotta believe a lot in coincidence not to at least give yourself the benefit of the doubt in this thing.
Who is it?
Me, Avery.
Well, come on in. Why the games?
Look at you. You're so jumpy you'd shoot anything that moved. You think I needed that? No, knocking was safer.
Well, you gonna tell me, or are you just gonna let me sweat a little bit?
They don't believe you, Mr. Larrabee.
I swear on my mother. Look, that money was ripped off right out of my safe. Do you tell them that?
Yes, sir, I told them. They don't believe you. They don't have any reason to believe you, Mr. Larrabee. You know, I'm glad my job is over. Working for you this past 6 months has been almost as bad as that stint I pulled in Stir. You've been skimming off the top, Mr. Larrabee. They weren't sure. That's why they sent me to work for you. You know, if you hadn't been so greedy, you might have been able to get away with it this time. Might have been able to make a deal with them.
I didn't. Not this time. I swear to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You swear on your mother. Well, she's dead, Mr. Larrabee. And so are you.
Now that Larrabee's dead, maybe you'll give some thought to what we were talking about in your office.
Maybe I should.
No, there wasn't only one man running bookmaking in those days. There were about 4 or 5 of them around town, all of them battling for control.
You know this Michael Pavan, could he have been one of those 4 or 5?
Matter of fact, he was. Why?
These bookies that used to work for Pavan, did your people arrest many of them?
Yeah, probably. Why?
Could Larrabee have been one of them?
Riker, that was 15, 20 years ago. That's going to take time.
I don't have any time, sir.
You let 20 years go by and now it's hurry, huh? I'll do it as fast as I can. I promise you.
should have been watching the newscast.
You promised.
I promised. I kept my promise. I kept my promise. I didn't touch him.
Now it's Riker's turn.
How are you planning to get back at him?
Maybe two things were stolen from me. My earning power, for want of a better term. After all, I spent my most productive time in prison. And 18 years. Now, don't you think it's fitting that I take those things away from the men who were responsible? Okay. I've taken money from Frank Larrabee. Now, I suppose that leaves Riker.
Dave, no.
He should be pushing 50 by now. According to actuarial tables, that would leave him just about 18 years. He's got more like 18 hours.
You know that building, 5th and Lakewood? The one they call the Glass Tower?
Yeah, I know that building.
My son designed it. Luck, DePaulo. Pure dumb luck.
You used to work for Michael Pavon, didn't you?
Did your homework, huh?
Captain Hirschman gave me your name.
Yeah. I worked for Pavon. Started out independent, but he took over. I wanted to quit right then, but I didn't know any other way to raise my kids.
How about the other guys? You know many of them?
Most all of them. A lot of them are dead now.
What about Frank Larrabee? What can you tell me about him?
He was a bum.
What else can you tell me?
I bet a lot more than you want to know.
Try me, Mr. Lupo. So, the day after Banner was convicted, Larrabee went around to all the other bookies, and he told them that from now on, they'd be making their payments to him.
Instead of Pavon.
Under Pavon, Larrabee was going to be the new straw boss. Lupo asked him why. Larrabee just smiled and said it was because he'd saved Pavon's life. By screwing up somebody else's, my guess is it was Banner's.
Well, then that sounds like the answer.
I think so. I also think it's a sure thing that Larrabee planted that gun.
Yeah. What's she want, Pallone? All right, send her in. It's Miss Page. Pilar says she's uptight.
Would you like me to leave you alone?
Why don't you do that?
Yeah?
Miss Page?
I didn't come here because I care anything about you, Lieutenant.
I understand that.
Dave is going to try to kill you.
Won't you sit down? Kind of figured that. When is this supposed to take place?
Tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Do you know where he is now?
I don't know.
Does he have a car?
No.
Well, that kind of lessens our chances of finding him.
You have to, Lieutenant.
Oh, I will, Miss Page. Believe me, I will try.
I'm very worried about him. I offered to ride shotgun with him, but he said no.
So he's still at the precinct?
Well, he's probably just leaving.
If he makes it home, he'll probably stay there.
Yeah, but knowing Riker, it's hard to tell for sure.
How you doing, Kurt?
Hi, Lieutenant. How's it going?
Okay.
Good, good. down, put your hands on the car.
Open the car door. I said, open the car. Open it. I said, open the car door. Now, if you want to take another chance, this is your time right now. Get in.
Close the door. Okay, we're gonna drive out of here. You're not gonna say a word to that attendant. You might wave at him as we go by, all right? Start the car. I was just... Go ahead. I was just thinking, we don't have to be in patrol for another 20, 30 minutes. We could just drop in and... Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll stay with him whether he wants me to or not.
Hey, be careful.
I will, baby. See you later. Take a ride on Mason.
Going any place in particular?
Yeah, we're going to a very particular place, a central jail. That's where you took me 18 years ago. You remember that? It's a kind of a symbolic attraction to me.
Closed it down quite some time ago.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you, I don't know anything more than that. He just nodded to me as he went by. And he didn't introduce me to the other guy. And I didn't ask. I just figured that he was a friend of the lieutenant's.
Can you give us a description of the guy? How tall he was, color of his eyes, hair?
Well, he was a big guy. He had brown, sandy-colored hair. In his 40s, mid-40s.
Negative. Appears to be an all break-in.
Control, this is Ludlow 9. Urgent request to locate Lieutenant Riker's privately owned vehicle. License number 893 HES, Henry Edward Sam. 1973 Ford. Brown, 4 doors, white vinyl top. Control, we gotta get this car right now. Take a ride. Walk. Straight ahead. Take a left.
Unit 12 has located vehicle on Morado Street near the old Central Jail. Repeat, 893 Henry Edward Sam is on Morado near the old Central Jail.
Roger. Request all the vehicles stay put and make no overt move. We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
You want to atone for your sins, Riker? All right, you're going to. that's funny. If Pavan hadn't confessed, I would have died behind bars. You do see the irony of that, don't you?
What about you? What's going to happen to you?
Oh, come on, Lieutenant. You're supposed to say, you'll never get away with this, Ben.
Well, I could put it that way.
Well, I can tell you I don't give a damn because I don't. I'm not a fool. I don't think I'm going to get out of here alive. I'll tell you something. Nobody outside understands what 18 years does to a man. My life ended a long time ago when you and Larrabee stole it from me.
Lieutenant?
Hold it, God!
Three of you stay out of this. That's an order.
You heard him. You stand still!
Banner, give it up. It's no
Danko,
good.
no,
Shut up.
So you say you don't care if you die?
No, not if I can kill you first, I don't.
What about Barbara? What are you going to do about her?
I left her this afternoon.
Because you don't want her to be mixed up with all this? You love her too much?
Yeah, that's right.
You're lying. You don't give a damn about her.
You turn around, Riker.
You talk about your 18 years. What about her? She could have married someone. But no, she was happy to just visit you once a month for 5 minutes and wait and wait and wait. Because she loved you and she believed in your innocence, and now the two of you can have a life together.
Turn around!
I wasn't surprised when you came after me. Scared? Yes. Surprised? No. Because Barbara warned me.
What do you mean? She warned you? You saw her?
She came to my office and she told me what you were planning.
She should have minded her own business.
You are her business. You've been her business for 18 miserable years. She doesn't give a damn about me. But if you die, or you go to prison, or you get hurt, it will destroy her forever.
You're wrong. She'll get over it.
You know better than that. You can't do this to her if you love that woman.
It's too late, Riker!
Not until you pull that trigger. Everything's gonna be all right. Help him down to the car. We're not going to the precinct.
Where are we going?
It's Page's apartment.
Lieutenant, you sure? He just came back close to...
Yeah, but he didn't do it. I don't feel like filing any charges, do you?
Didn't see a thing.
You all right? I will be in about a month.
Lieutenant, why didn't you tell him about the gun?
Well, maybe I will someday. Didn't want to confuse the real question.
Which is?
Could he actually kill me, even with all the hatred he carries? We know now that he couldn't do it. More important, I think he does too. Imagine it's quite a load off his mind. I'll be right down.
He didn't actually point the gun at me. And he did pay for it. That's the important thing, right?
The gun is down in headquarters anytime you want to pick it up. You gotta know the injustice this man has had to put up with. He's had a bad time. He's due for a break. So come on, what do you say? You want to lend a helping hand here? What do you say?
Why, if the DA's willing to let it ride, like you say, he did say that, right? Well, how can I be a hardhead? I won't press charges.
You're okay. Thanks a lot.
I hear the guy's getting married today.
It's about time. He's been engaged for 18 years. He's a very agreeable man.
Well, it only leaves one problem. I did rip off Larrabee.
You did?
Oh, come on, Lieutenant. I told you about it.
Oh, so you did. That's right. But you turned all that money over to the police. The way I see it, you just found that money. Now, look here. There is no complaint against you, so there is no case against you.
What about his death?
His death? What about his death?
I was responsible for his death.
Don't say that. That is not so. Now, we collared Avery last night. According to him, there's been a contract out on Larrabee for a long time. It just was late getting picked up, that's all. How could you have anything to do with a thing like that? Does that do it?
Yeah, I guess that does it.
Well, I have to get dressed. I'm going to a wedding. I don't want to be late.